Hi, welcome to another episode of the PPC podcast. I'm your host, Avi Solomon. Today we're discussing something that July 22nd is gonna become very relevant for every Amazon seller. Amazon's new title requirement, 75 characters. For a lot of people, they're freaking out thinking this is going to destroy their business. Now, keep in mind, it's 75 characters for the title, and then they give you, and I believe it's 150 characters for the subtitle. Now, why is Amazon doing this? They're doing this because for the Amazon customers, 73% of them, I think that's the data point I read, purchase off of their cell phones. It's a mobile purchase. And they believe that this will appear much better on mobile, and that's what they're focusing on. And it makes a lot of sense. If 73% of their purchases are mobile purchases, that they want to have a cleaner look. Cleaner looks are always a good thing. Now, the question is, as the seller, what should you do? Should you start implementing it right away? Or should you, and especially if you have a catalog of thousands and thousands of listings, how do you even do that? Here's the thing. Amazon, first of all, has said they're not punishing you if you don't do it. They'll just use their own AI software to do it for you. So if you don't do it, they'll do it for you. In my opinion, letting Amazon touch your listing is not a good thing because Amazon does not understand your product as well as you do. And you just don't want to give up that control. But what I would tell people is, first of all, if your products are more B2B, I have a client that sells products that are more B2B focused. And what I told them is reach out, since most of their stuff is on Vendor Central, reach out to the CM and see if you could get an exemption. Probably doesn't exist, but if you explain that, the average customer is not purchasing a $3,000 exam bed on their mobile device, maybe there is something as an exemption that you could get. Probably doesn't exist because Amazon's going to do it across the boards. Now, the first thing is they're not going to be able to do it across the boards on day one. If you don't change your listing by July 22nd, you may be the first person up to bat that Amazon automatically changes it. But out of 2 million sellers and millions of products, it's probably going to happen in batches. And what I would tell you is have it ready to go, but only make the edits to your listing once you see Amazon's touched it. So whoever in your department is looking at listings every day to make sure that they're good, that person has to be hyper-focused on looking for when a change was made to the listing. And once he reports back, yeah, Amazon did an edit to our listing, you go in and you undo their edit with something you already had prepared, your 75 characters, which is going to focus on telling the customer what the product is. You're probably not even going to get that much of, people used to be able to put in premium, great product, wonderful product, the best dog food or whatever the product is. All of that's going to have to go into the subtitles. You're going to focus most of all on for the 75 characters, telling the customer what the product is and what in one as quick as possible, how it can benefit them. Maybe one benefit you could fit in. Everything else you're going to have to figure out to go into the subtitles. And you're going to have to make sacrifices. Sometimes like made in USA, I have a client that insists that they have to have made in USA in their title. Well, that's not going to be after July 22nd. And I wouldn't even tell them to keep it into the subtitles. That's something that's going to have to become a bullet point seller. So the title of 75 characters, I would tell people don't make the change until Amazon forces the change. And once you see they have edited your listing, that's when then you're going to go afterwards. Now, I could be wrong because what if Amazon is going to punish, they can't change everything all at once, but they're going to punish you if you organically where you rank. So you also have to keep an eye on what's doing with your organic rank. And if you see for no other reason that your organic rank is dropping, that means that I'm wrong about wait till Amazon forces you, because even if they're not changing your title, if they're going to punish you organically, you have to say, okay, we have to make the switch right away. If you remember, I said, have it ready. This week and next week, you should be focusing on having all of those changes ready. The main title should focus on make sure the customer knows what the product is and its most important selling point, or points if you could get to it. And then all the fluff that you usually put into the title, premium, greatest products in sliced bread, all of that stuff is going to become part of the subtitle. And some things you're going to have to just drop, and you're going to have to make them as a bullet point selling pitch. Again, one other point here is that, and why I think it's important to wait Amazon out on this, is because Amazon doesn't know if this is going to be successful. They probably are basing it off of data points and a lot of other things, but it would not be the first time that you have seen Amazon say they're going to do something and then backtrack because they saw it wasn't as successful. Now, maybe they've already done beta testing on this and they're 90% sure it's going to succeed. So another idea here is I would go with what I said first and foremost. Hold off on your listing as is until you're forced to make the change. Forced to make the change means either Amazon touched your listing and made the change with their own AI, and then you're going to use what you have ready that you prepared before July 22nd, or forced means you see that you're falling organically and you believe it's because Amazon is punishing you with losing your organic rank because you're not following the title guidelines. But maybe I'm wrong in all of this because, again, a lot of this becomes a guessing game. Holding off also gives you the benefit that if Amazon's wrong, you're not going to lose out. But what if Amazon's right? And it makes a lot of sense to assume they know the data, they see the data points, that they believe that this is going to help grow their sales. Well, don't you want to be part of that sales growth? So what I would suggest to someone who has a robust catalog is take a number of your items and make the change before July 22nd. Get ahead of the buzzer and see what's working better. The Amazon title, the products that have the old Amazon titles, or the products that have the new 75 characters in the subtitle. If you see that the new version of 75 characters and a subtitle, I believe it's 150 characters, I believe. If you see that that's working better, so then make the change, go ahead. Because, again, don't be married to anything. Be married to whatever will give you the most sales. And hopefully, between all of these things I've laid out, you'll be able to easily transition and successfully. Just remember, have your changes ready. And be ready to pull that trigger if Amazon pulls it for you. Quickly make edits. If you see you're falling organically, quickly make the edits. And if you have enough of a robust catalog, test what works better. And remember, the whole goal is the more sales, the better. And don't be married to anything except sales.